With that, the court having read the PSI and being fully familiar with the defendant and the underlying facts of this case, believes that it is in the best interest of justice as well as proportionate to the needs of this case to sentence defendant as follows. As it relates to docket 2022-279-506 FC, count 1, terrorism causing death. Sentences of the court is that defendant shall serve life without the possibility of parole, credit for 8 days served. Counts 2 through 5, homicide, first degree, premeditated murder, juvenile defendant. Sentence of the court is that defendant shall serve the rest of his life without the possibility of parole with the Michigan Department of Corrections, credit for 8 days served. On counts 6 through 12, assault with intent to murder. On each of the counts, defendant is sentenced to 18 years and 9 months to 80 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections, credit for 8 days served. On counts 13 through 24, those being felony firearm, defendant is sentenced to 2 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections on each of those counts with credit for 730 days served. Counts 1 through 12 are concurrent to each other, and counts 13 through 24 are concurrent to each other. Count 1 is consecutive to count 13, count 2 is consecutive to count 14, count 3 is consecutive to count 15, count 4 is consecutive to count 16, count 5 is consecutive to count 17, count 6 is consecutive to count 18, count 7 is consecutive to count 19, count 8 is consecutive to count 20, count 9 is consecutive to count 21, count 10 is consecutive to count 22, count 11 is consecutive to 23, and count 12 is consecutive to count 24. All of those consecutive counts are by reason of the felony firearm statute. Is there a challenge to restitution here?
There is not, Your Honor.
Thank you. Restitution will be set in the amount of $20,781. State costs will be set in the amount of $1,632. You are not to have any contact with Oxford High School or enter Oxford High School. You're not to have any contact whatsoever with the families of Madison Baldwin, Tate Meyer, Hannah St. Juliana, and Justin Schilling. Also, you are not to have any contact with the following victims or their families, that being Phoebe Arthur, John Ocedo, Molly Darnell, Riley France, Elijah Mueller, Kylie Osage, Aiden Watson, and Keegan Gregory. And I will note that restitution is payable to the Crime Victims' Right Compensation Program. With that, Michigan Department of Corrections, did I miss anything?
Your Honor, may I ask the court to order 130 crime victims fee, $60 DNA cost, and DNA testing?
Thank you. DNA cost is $60, Crime Victims' Right fee at $130. Did I miss anything else?
DNA testing, Your Honor.
DNA testing is hereby ordered. Thank you. With that, Mr. Crumbley, you are entitled to file an application for leave to appeal. If you are financially unable to retain a lawyer, the court will appoint a lawyer to represent you on appeal. The request for a lawyer must be filed within 42 days after sentencing. Your attorney is going to be handing you an appellate rights form, sir. Do you acknowledge receipt of the appellate rights form?
Your Honor, I have tendered that to my client. He has signed it, and I will tender it to the court.
Thank you very much. With that, counsel, anything else for the record?
Nothing, people. Thank you.
Nothing from defense. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. With that, deputies, you may take Mr. Crumbley. To those in the gallery, please be seated until he is exited.